Westbrook goes coast to coast. Russell Westbrook attacking the goal again. Back-to-back threes for Harden.
Randolph strokes in a left-hander. And he hit another one. Back it in. He can't miss.
The 8th-seeded Grizzlies' magical run will continue for at least one more game.
Tied at 3, two teams, one win from the Western Conference Finals. Hi, and welcome to NBA Tonight. Kevin Connors, three-time NBA champion, Bruce Bowen. No games on the schedule Saturday night, but we're here to set the table for one Super Sunday. Game 1, Heat and Bulls in the Shy, and Game 7, Thunder Grizzlies in OK City. Bruce, it's been a series that's seen just about everything. Physicality, up-tempo play, and in Game 1, post-domination by Memphis.
Yeah, this is what you want to do, is get the first game on the road. They went to the inside, big fellas, and they got great production out of those two, and that's what allowed them to get a victory.
Game 2, Bruce, the Thunder would answer right back.
Yeah, here we have eye contact here. Not, hey, throw me the alley-oop. No, eye contact, and he goes for the alley-oop. This comes from playing with one another for quite some time.
Game 3, Grizzlies down by 5 in the fourth. It's Zach Randolph, hook shot inside. Memphis rallied from 16 down to tie it. They actually had a chance to win it. Zebo, deep shot, no, so we go to overtime, and in overtime, too much Randolph. Bruce, he had 21 and 21.
Yeah, he is a player that you can't just prepare for just one way. He has a variety of moves down low on the block. He can step out and shoot the nice soft J. So when it comes to guarding a player like this, you have your hands full because he can do so many different things on the block.
Game 4 was a classic. Under 10 seconds to go. Grizz down 3 until Mike Conley hits the 3, tying things at 96. 3.5 seconds to go. Russell Westbrook, what did you think of the look?
Good look, just didn't go in. It's a good shot, good look. You don't have a lot of time to do too much, so he got the best shot he could.
So it would go to overtime. 15 seconds to go. Grizz down 3. Gravis Vasquez, you betcha, tying things at 109. So we go to a second overtime. Tied at 114. Vasquez at it again. What a surprise he's been.
Yeah, here it is, a 4-year player at University of Maryland, coming in, giving good support off the bench. I think because he did play for so long in college, it's allowed him to contribute like this now.
Russell Westbrook would have won it in double overtime. Instead, we go to a third overtime. And what about this baby from Kevin Durant?
Between the legs, behind the back, he's talented. He's the leading scorer in the league. But when he gets to that shooting motion, it's hard to contest his shot because he's 6'10".
Triple overtime win, tied the series at 2. Game 5, the bench came up big for the Thunder. Daquan Cook and your old teammate, Nazr Mohammed.
Yeah, and this is good for the team because now those guys feel like they're contributing. And this is something that's hard to in the playoffs because you have such a small rotation.
So a chance for the Thunder to close things out in Game 6, up by 2. Kevin Durant, Bruce, just never really seemed to find a rhythm.
Yeah, I think part of it is because he pressed a little bit. He wanted this game as much as his teammates did, but he just tended to press a little bit too much.
And speaking of pressing, you know what? They could have put a full-court press on Zach Randolph. It wouldn't have mattered. He had it every which way. 30 points, 13 rebounds. Grizzlies tie the series at 3. ESPN's Shelley Smith has more on Sunday's Winner Take All.
A Game 7, something Oklahoma City couldn't prevent, and the players say they will not win unless they take care of the ball, play with a sharper focus, and get a Kevin Durant-like performance from Kevin Durant.
I have no concern with Kevin. That guy is a winner. I believe in him. I believe in what he's about. You can dissect it all you want, but the bottom line is he played bad. Players, good players, great players, play bad occasionally, but they don't play bad consistently.
Durant picked up 2 quick fouls in the first quarter of Game 6, which he said took him out of his rhythm.
I don't want to make excuses and put it on that, but I had to adjust, and I didn't.
I think he'll bring as much energy as he can, and he'll try to be aggressive, I believe, and I think everybody knows that. We have to play better as a team, and our level of play just needs to be higher in general, and it'll put Kevin in much better opportunities than we put him in yesterday to succeed.
Durant said that when he finally got to sleep after Game 6, he dreamed about the game, but in his dream he made shots and the Thunder won. Scott Brooks said he didn't exactly have that same dream, but he hopes to on the eve of Game 7. In Oklahoma City, I'm Shelley Smith. ESPN.
Durant, Westbrook, Ibaka, Gasol, Mayo, Conley, all starters who will be playing in their first ever Game 7s. But there are some players on each squad with experience. Kendrick Perkins has 5 Game 7s experience with his time with the Celtics. And the Grizz have experience from Tony Allen, Shane Battier, even Zach Randolph from the 2003 Portland Trailblazers. Bruce, you played in your share of Game 7s over the course of your career. These are both teams, as we pointed out, relatively short on experience. What advice would you give them as they prepare for this Game 7?
Trust in all the work that you've done thus far. You have to trust in that. Don't worry about if a shot goes in or if it doesn't. You don't have tomorrow to worry about playing another game. So it's very important that the guys just relax, trust in all the work that you put in the summer, during the course of the regular season, and the preparation that you've had during the playoff. Trust in that and just let the chips fall where they may.
And as we heard, maybe get a good night's sleep, like Kevin Durant indicated. Let's talk game keys as you see them, Bruce, here in Game 7. What are the keys for each team, beginning with Memphis?
Well, I think it's to establish inside presence. Zach Randolph has shown that he is more than capable of handling the load of scoring down low. But you also have Marc Gasol that's playing above his average as well. So when you have that combination of two guys that you can go to on the block, it makes things better for the wing players where they have attacking mentality or shot opportunities from the kickouts.
How about Oklahoma City?
Well, I think it's getting Kevin Durant off early. You know, he pressed a little bit in the other game, but he's at home, he's relaxed, he's a competitor, and he's going to bounce back from the bad performance that he had the night before.
We talked with Chris Mullin on Friday night on NBA Tonight, who he thought would win Game 7. He told me he thought the Oklahoma City Thunder would on their home court. Who do you think wins Game 7?
I have to agree with the Hall of Famer and Chris Mullin. You know, that's a great environment for the collegiates in the state of Oklahoma. They have such rowdy crowds. They're constantly cheering on their team, whether they're up 20 or down 20. And it's a special atmosphere and electricity in the air. And I believe that these young Thunder players are going to use that to continue to get their energy up and just continue to sustain that during the course of that game.
No 8 seed has ever won a Game 7. In fact, the only other time an 8 seed played a Game 7 in the conference semifinals, 1994, when the Nuggets lost to Karl Malone, John Stockton, and the Utah Jazz. Still to come on NBA Tonight, how Jason Kidd responded when asked if he felt this postseason was his last run at a title. We'll shine the spotlight on the fast friendship between LeBron and D. Wade, the genesis of their friendship and how it landed LeBron in Miami. And we'll turn back the clock to the Jordan era, the last time the Bulls played in the Eastern Conference Finals. Vintage MJ is on the way. Kidd ain't a kid anymore. Mavs guard Jason Kidd is 38 years old in his 16th NBA season, ready to run in his 3rd conference final. Several records dot Kidd's resume, but a title has been elusive. He sat down with our Colleen Dominguez.
How satisfying for a Northern California guy to sweep the Lakers?
Well, I think growing up, being a big fan of the Lakers and Magic Johnson being my idol, and never beating the Lakers, I was very happy to be able to do that before my career was over.
How much does it weigh on you that this could be your last opportunity for a championship?
I haven't really thought about that. You know, I'm just happy to be in the playoffs and still playing at this point. You know, I've been on some talented teams that we've lost in the first round. So, you know, thinking about, is this my last time? You know, I'll think about that once I'm closer to retiring. I still feel I got a lot left to give to the game.
You, Dirk, Jet have all been to the NBA Finals, have all lost. How much does that bond you guys together?
Well, I think the big thing we have, that's one thing in common, that we've come in second. And so we would love to have on our resume that we are a champion. And, you know, there's no better way to do it with all 3 of us doing it this year.
You started in Dallas. What would it mean to get a ring in Dallas?
That would be awesome. It would be kind of funny in a sense that this is where my NBA career started, and hopefully it does end here in Dallas with the championship.
Kidd and his Mavericks teammates will be well rested before playing Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, and that bodes well for Game 1. Teams with just 1 or 2 days rest have a losing record in Game 1s. but teams with at least 5 days of rest have the best record of all. Bruce, the Mavs have had 8 days rest to get ready for Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. We saw the numbers, but how will that layoff impact this specific Dallas team?
Oh, it will help them out a great deal. Understand that you don't get an opportunity to get a lot of rest during the course of the playoffs. The only way you do that is by accomplishing the goal of what the Dallas Mavericks did in getting a sweep against the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, on the other hand, it does throw your rhythm off a little bit. So when they do compete against whoever they're going to play against, you might see a little tackiness going on in their game, and they're not as sharp, because it's hard to prepare for players that you just don't have on your team playing like the other guys. Like Peja Stojakovic is supposed to be Kevin Durant. Well, Peja's not 6'10". Or better yet, you have somebody trying to be like Zach Randolph. It just doesn't work. So those are the little things that take place when you have such time off like this.
Well, Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals is Tuesday night, 9 Eastern on ESPN. Still to come on NBA Tonight, on the eve of Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, why LeBron and Dwayne Wade are calling their friendship phony. We'll get to the bottom of that. And his airness and the heir apparent, the common thread between Derrick Rose and Michael Jordan you may not have known.
What a finish by LeBron James. Here's Rose, fires it up, hits, basket counts, and a foul. Are you kidding me? Derrick Rose moving well on that ankle. All said. It'll be Miami and Boston in the Eastern Conference semifinals. The Bulls take the series in 5. Wade racing down the other end of the floor for the finish. The Heat defense does it again. Oh, what a move by James! 44 for the MVP, Derrick Rose. Games for 3. Got it! Miami is going to close it out. Miami 97, Boston 87. For the first time since the Jordan days, the Chicago Bulls are back in the Eastern Conference Finals. Bring on the Bulls and the Heat.
Bring it on indeed. The Bulls won all 3 meetings during the regular season, but don't let that fool you. The games were about as close as it gets. Chicago won by 3 points, 4 points, and 1 point. And the overall numbers for both teams were very similar. As Mike Tirico said, we look back now on the last time the Bulls played in the conference finals, 1998.
First thing out of his mouth when we came in, it's going to be a long series.
They got to find ways to break down that chicken fighting defense that he plays.
I think maybe he's testing.
Here's Michael, an 18-foot jumper, good! Bounce down to Michael against Reggie. Michael to the lane. Scores and a foul. Game over. Bulls win. They lead the series 1 game to none.
Michael Jordan, the ball away. Oh, what a shot by Michael Jordan. The Chicago Bulls have defeated the Indiana Pacers.
Fading back for the 3, the pump fake and the 2-point shot.
And a 2-point game. They get it into Miller. Harper fouls him hard, sending Reggie stumbling back into his bench. That's going to do it if they can get it in. And Indiana wins Game 3.
Harper and Reggie Miller.
This has been brewing since Game 3.
Gets it to Reggie for 3. Oh, baby! Unbelievable! Reggie hits the 3 with 7/10 of a second to go. How many more times can he do it? He lost the short. He got it off. It ripped out. It ripped out. It ripped out. And it's 2-2. Unbelievable.
They shouldn't have been where they were to have a chance to make that shot. They acted like they were afraid, the referees did.
Here's a 3-on-1 break. Hello.
MJ is in the house.
Chicago wins it 106-87. He goes to the basket and hits on the run. Michael, that's the guy to watch. He stumbles and loses it. McKee has it. The Pacers and the Bulls will take it to the limit. Pippen driving. Throws up a little hook. It bounces home plus a foul. McKee for 3. It's long and on to the finals. For the 6th time in 8 years, go the Chicago Bulls.
Jordan's Bulls went on to beat Karl Malone's Jazz in the NBA Finals. The Jordan-Malone matchup was a pairing of current and previous MVPs. 13 years later, in the Eastern Conference Finals, here we go again. Current MVP Derrick Rose and the previous season's MVP LeBron James. Speaking of LeBron, ESPN's Rachel Nichols has more on James and Dwayne Wade, a dynamic duo both on and off the court.
Teams often create momentary friendships, temporary brotherhoods that can dissolve almost as quickly as they are forged. But what if you got to chase a championship with a person who's been one of your best friends for nearly a decade?
It means everything, honestly. It's part of the reason why I came here, not only because of his talent, because of the friendship that we had.
First and foremost, we're friends. And not just friends because of what basketball brings, but, we generally care about each other's family.
LeBron James and Dwayne Wade met when James was 18 years old and Wade 21.
2003, we go for the early physicals and stuff, kind of talk and get it off there, and the relationship just from that day.
Off the court, we just instantly became, friends. We had a lot of things in common.
We had a lot of things similar, growing up in the inner city, having a dream of being in the NBA and finally having this opportunity, 8 years ago, so we kind of kicked it off there.
Over the years, the two played together in all-star games and Olympic team camps. And even when they didn't, they called and visited each other. Often, James found only Wade could truly relate to some of the burdens he carried, and vice versa.
Actually, we got criticized before for being friends and hanging out before games with each other. When I would go to Cleveland, go to his house, etc. Even during the playoffs, when I was with Miami's with Cleveland, we always talked and checked up on each other.
When LeBron structured his contract with the Cavs to allow him maximum control in free agency, Wade did the same with the Heat. And when this summer saw the most frenzied free agent period in NBA history, the two say they considered many cities, but that in each scenario, what weighed most heavily was the chance to play with each other. Now that fact is the subject of much amusement between them.
I don't even like this guy.
It's all the front.
It was the weather. In the school system, why I came here. My kids and the weather. That's this guy. I don't even know who this is.
Spend a lot of time with each other. Everybody. I think that's why it's so easy on the court that everybody gets along so well off the court.
What are they like?
Like Siamese twins, kinda. They aren't cut out. They aren't cut disconnected yet. If you see one, you know the other one's close.
People forget that me and Bron was best of friends before we played together. That's why we're successful right now as we are, and we'll continue to count on each other and lean on each other for support.
To be having this success so far, got a lot of work to do still. We're not taking that for granted, but to have this success so far in the postseason with one of your best friends, it means a lot.
You get the feeling, Bruce, maybe the Chicago Bulls wish they weren't such good friends. They wouldn't be playing together, but indeed they are. And the Bulls did win all 3 regular season meetings, but this Heat team is playing at a very different level right now. Who wins the conference finals and why?
I feel like the Miami Heat will get game 1 and win this conference finals because they're playing at such a high level right now. They're very athletic, and when you have LeBron James and Dwayne Wade attacking the basket, that creates other opportunities which we thought would take place during the regular season. But now James Jones, Mike Bibby, and other players are getting wide open shots because of their activities going to the basket.
What kind of a series are you expecting? A low scoring, high scoring, physical, out in the open court? What kind of a series are you expecting?
I'm expecting an out in the open court series, but at the same time, I expect the Chicago Bulls to do a good job defensively. I know that a lot of people have talked about how Chicago's defense is not where it should be in order for them to compete, but at the same time, it is what they have been about from day one. They were taught defense through Coach Tom Thibodeau, and they're executing that defensive mentality now as we go on into the playoffs.
We're going to see a long series here?
I believe so. I expect this one to go the distance.
Wow, all right, 7 games. Hey, by the way, according to the MGM Sportsbook, the Heat are 2-1 favorites to win this series. Bulls, the number 1 seed. Bulls had the best record in the NBA regular season. The Heat are 2-1 favorites to win this series. Still to come on NBA Tonight, we hand out one of the most prestigious honors in sports, our Hoop Heroes of the postseason to this point. Coming up. NBA Tonight, Kevin Connors, Bruce Bowen. All right, Bruce, time for your Hoop Hero of the postseason. Who you got?
I have Dwayne Wade, averaging 30 points a game and shooting over 50% from the field. He is definitely taking this team to another level. This is what you want from your reigning champion,
guy on your team.
My hoop hero of the postseason is Zach Randolph. Put it this way, does Memphis win a game without Zebo? With him, they're in Game 7 of the conference semis. He's 10th in the NBA this postseason in scoring, 3rd in rebounding, 430, 10 games this postseason. No other player has more than 2. If you're curious whether there's a momentum factor heading into Game 7, we can tell you history says there is not. The team that wins Game 6 to force a Game 7 goes on to win that Game 7 just 32% of the time. Of course, the home team usually changes from Game 6 to Game 7. Home teams have won 80% of Game 7s. You can catch all the action of Thunder and Grizz, 3:30 Eastern on ABC. Coverage gets underway at 3 o'clock Eastern. Heat Bulls, 8 Eastern on TNT tomorrow night. Next NBA Tonight comes your way 12:30 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. For Bruce Bowen, I'm Kevin Connors. Thanks for watching.